What happens if Trump wins? Well, just to speak plainly, red states will get a lot worse, I think. Blue states might succeed in beating holdouts. I can't imagine Trump would be able to meaningfully squash, say, for example, Californian or New York progressivism. I don't think that the entire country is going to be like collapsed down into a flat reactionary like monoculture underneath the weight of the police or military. I don't think that's possible. I think that in basically every meaningful, measurable sense, life is going to get worse. Police encounters will get worse. Profiling will get worse. Stop and frisk, which is a Project 2025, a consideration, will get worse. The environment will get worse. Deregulation will get worse. Court rulings will get worse. The treatment that you experience as a member of literally any marginalized group will get worse. Rhetoric about transgender and gay people in schools or in public society being naturally predatory will get worse. We will see people who are obvious criminals be let off the hook. We will have wildly partisan judges who will skew the results in what should be clear criminal or civil cases. We might have like a little Weimar moment with like Trump supporting brown shirts getting let off in spite of like very obviously committing crimes, or the police refuse to collect evidence against them. Things to that effect. It could get worse. When I talk about us being put into camps, like I'm speaking largely euphemistically, I think it's very unlikely that we literally have like a concentration camp situation for like, I don't know, like queer people or whatever. I think it's pretty possible that there might be mass arrests at certain points, depending on exactly how strong Trump's control over the country is, whether or not he gets all of Congress, whether or not it even matters if he gets control of Congress. He could pass law after law after law. They would abolish the filibuster in the Senate, of course, and the Supreme Court wouldn't challenge the constitutionality of any of these laws because the Supreme Court is Republican and deeply partisan. Law after law after law that undermines democracy, gives more power to his institutions. He does the Project 2025 thing of filling the administrative state with his cronies. Things could get pretty damn bad. And I don't know whether he would go through with deporting like 20 million people or even attempting to, but I bet you that the pretext of attempting to deport 20 million illegal immigrants could very easily be used as a way of sweeping up dissenters and people who oppose his regime. We're getting the illegal immigrants, but we're also getting terrorist sympathizers, people who are associated with migrant gangs like Tren de Aragua or MS-13. And that could include a lot of regular journalists and progressive people. Look at what Israel has done. They've arrested a bunch of their own citizens for being sympathetic to Hamas, i.e. protesting Netanyahu or being critical of Israel's war effort. Look at what happened with Stop Cop City in Atlanta, where you had members of nonprofits who are raising bail funds for people protesting the construction of the cop training facility, having their facilities and their homes broken into, having people be arrested, accused by the district attorney of funneling money illegally. All of this could be turned up to 11 in a Trump regime. And depending on how thoroughly democracy is dismantled, maybe at some point Trump dies or goes off into the great golf club in the golf resort in the sky, and it's JD Vance taken over, and he's a soulless puppet for the Heritage Foundation and Peter Thiel. He would just Trump doesn't just mean immigrants when he refers to the enemy within. 100%. JD Vance will do literally whatever he is told to do, whatever he is directed to do. He has no soul, and he has no qualms about being given marching orders. So what can you do? Preparedness. Have the materials for basic disaster preparedness. And I mean basic stuff. Have your water, have a nice durable flashlight, have water purification tablets, have the da-da-da-da-da. You know how you can Google, emergency preparedness kit. You can see what you need. I'm not going to remember every single thing. Have your passports updated in case shit gets really, really bad. Maintain strong connections with your neighbors, okay? Be on good terms with your neighbors. I'm going to cut right to the thick of it, okay? If you are transgender, I'm not saying necessarily that you should limit your social media usage. I'm just saying that anonymity might be a slightly higher priority for you than it would be under a non-Trump presidency. not necessarily because they're going to pass like a it's illegal to be trans law or anything kind of stupid and blunt like that. I mean, I guess they might, but I don't think they will. But rather because you know, it's possible that stochastic terrorism might ramp up significantly in a Trump presidency, where it's not the administration that's targeting you, but it's, you know, Trump 3%ers, militiamen, lunatic domestic terrorists who feel emboldened by the administration, and anonymity might be to your benefit in those cases. Maybe you want to skedaddle out of the country or just out of the red state into the blue state for a bit. I don't know. I mean, if you can, if it's possible for you, maybe. We're kind of seeing a global tide of fascism. So, you know, you'll have to make your own decisions with regard to like whether or not that's a good idea necessarily. I just, these are my thoughts. It might be a good idea to try to move to a blue state. At the very least, try to get to know your neighbors, because I'm telling you, all of these like doomsday preppers or whatever, they don't fantasize about survival. They fantasize about killing people. Okay. They store guns. Do they store like water purification tablets and food? Sometimes. Less often than the guns. For them, the guns is like the first thing they get. The main thing you want if you want to survive difficult times is know your neighbor. You can get more done as a group than you ever can as an individual. And the last thing that you want during socially difficult times is to not have your neighbor's number. Just imagine it. 3 a.m. You have a night light on, or you have your phone charging. You hear a clunk. The power's gone out in your neighborhood. You hear screaming outside. You look out your window after you pull open the curtains. You're awoken to the sound of people yelling, and you see there's smoke from a fire somewhere vaguely downtown. Cell towers are down, so your phone barely has any signal because it's just off satellite. All your power is gone. You know, you're navigating your phone with your phone light, you know, around your house. You hear gunshots ring out. Maybe a terror group has struck your local substation. Maybe this gets snuffed out by the police in 6 minutes. Maybe not. Maybe the police are a little bit in on it. Maybe there are people in this little local 3% militia that are A-okay with the cops, and the cops are letting them have a little bit of fun before they skedaddle and don't get caught. Maybe they're trying to put a hit out on somebody. Maybe they're just trying to loot. You don't know. Do you want your neighbor's number or not? You want your neighbor's damn number. In that moment, you want the number of your neighbor and the neighbor on the other side, all of them. You want to know, hey, what's going on? You know, you hear those noise, you know, what's happening out there? Are you okay? Da-da-da. You want that. My neighbor is one of those 3%ers. Then either work very hard to befriend them or move. So, you know, those are the options for you, I guess.